Hey guys, here is a quick update on our search diligently tool. Before we added the Joseph Smith translation, and if you go to the navigation in the top left, then below you can see that we have GST for Joseph Smith translation of the Old Testament and also the New Testament. But now we added the feature of we are color coding the differences. So let me give you an example. If you go to Genesis 48, in this case, you're gonna see these highlight changes. So if right now, this is the Joseph Smith translation of Genesis 48, but without having a color coding differences, it's very hard to see what has been changed. It's nice to compare, but if you click on the highlight changes button, then you're gonna see that you're gonna see the blue color and the red color appears. So we color coded blue anything that is a small change, for example, punctuation or spelling, capitalization, those small changes that don't affect the meaning of the verse, those are going to be blue. But the other ones who are, in this case, red, these are when there is a whole new word added or a whole new verse and it changed the whole meaning. So there is a new interpretation by the changes that Joseph did. So in this case, we have here Genesis 48, when it's when Jacob and Joseph are talking about Ephraim and Manasseh, and then you're seeing all of this, everything that is read is not in the King James version. And the cool thing is that if you're in a desktop device, you can click on the duplicate screen, and now you can search for Genesis 48. Push enter. Sorry, misspelled Genesis 48. And if I highlight changes, you can look the King James version side by side with the Joseph Smith translation, and it's very easy to start seeing all of the changes. Let me walk you through a few more that if you go to Genesis 50, you are gonna also see, sorry. All of this is added from verse 24, which is what we know that Lehi understood, because Lehi in 2nd Nephi chapter 3, he covers almost all of this. There are differences though, but will be nice for you to compare with Genesis 50 and the King James version. And then you can also compare with 2nd Nephi chapter 3. So that's a fun feature. Let me walk you through a few more just for the fun. If you go to Exodus 34, and sorry, Joseph Smith translation, GST. So there are two ways actually to go to the Joseph Smith three ways. One is going to be through the navigation, and then on the search bar in the header, if you add GST, then you can add any other book. In this case, Exodus 34, push enter, and then it's gonna send me right away there. We are aiming for speed, as somebody who like to sometimes go fast to one verse, another chapter, and so forth. We love speed. That's something that right now the website is working very well. And then if you click on highlight changes, here we see that this is when the Lord took the higher law and the holy priesthood. And this is not in the King James version. Everything that is in red is not. And this was the background for section 84 of Doctrine and Covenants. So it's good to start seeing these differences. Another fun one is Isaiah. Let's do, Joseph Smith translation of Isaiah chapter 2, push enter. And then you're gonna see all of these red add-ons that are not in the King James Version. Now, if I duplicate the screen and go to 2 Nephi 28, and then I go to verse 14, and then compare with, let's see, highlight changes, you see that in verse 5, the Joseph Smith translation adds this phrase that, for ye have all gone astray, everyone to his wicked ways. This phrase, for ye have all gone astray, is not in the King James Version. And then Nephi, when he's going over the big block of Isaiah, which began with chapter 2, and then in chapter 25, he started giving us his own prophecy. He also uses the same phrase. And then you can make the case, yeah, Nephi had access to maybe a different type of record that Joseph Smith was inspired to give us some of the missing parts that Nephi and Lehi had. So there are many other ones you can, and let's have, for example, a few of the New Testament. Let's go to Joseph Smith, Matthew chapter 3, highlight changes. And then one thing that you notice in Matthew is that the one of the add-ons is that, for example, let's read verse 4. This is what they are asking, that the wise men, where is the place that is written by the prophets in which Christ should be born? And this idea is written by the prophets. It is written by the prophets. There is this, all of these different phrases that is telling us that it was very clear that the Messiah was going to be, wasn't to come in the way that Jesus came, but they did not believe it. That's kind of there is a couple of verses that show that they did not believe in the prophecies of the Messiah, which is the same tone that you read in what is in First Nephi chapter 1, that people did not believe in that a Messiah was going to come to redeem the world. That's what's put Lehi into trouble. Anyway, then you go below and you see that there is a reference to Jesus' siblings, and it's very explicit. All of this is not in the King James Version, and there are so many more. So anyway, have a lot of fun. You can come and compare and go and start digging for gold. That's the metaphor when you start finding them. We did this manually for the most part. Then there was a couple of tools we used to create the color coding, but there is always maybe a margin of error. So if you have any feedback as you go through it, send us an email and let us know. We are very happy to get it right. But I will say is at least 90% accurate. The other feature that you can do is when you are searching for it, of course, we have by default that the Joseph Smith translation is not on. And the reason why is because it will create duplicate results. If you get too many verses in the Bible, then it's going to duplicate whatever that is. So if you are searching for hope, and then you're going to get 700 words because of the Old Testament and the New Testament, by having the Joseph Smith translation on, it will give you the same verses, another 700. So it's not duplicate. To avoid duplication, we have that by default as off, but you can come here anytime and turn that on and select if you want that to be included in your search results. Then it's going to be added to your phrase. That's on the Joseph Smith translation. We are very excited. It's a big project. We do want to bring people back to some of the things that Joseph gave us, and there are more things from Joseph that we are going to be adding in the next few months. So that's live. You can go and play with it. The other tool that is coming, update, excuse me, it's not done yet. But if you go to in the future to any chapter, and we are gonna make sure this will be available by the end of the year. But you can click on the verse number, and then you're gonna have all of these resources. You're gonna have the Hebrew, the English, the King James version, the Hebrew, the transliteration, and then you will have a breakdown of a quick summary of what every Hebrew word means. But then if you can click on the Strong Concordance, you are going to be sent to the Strong page, and we're going to add more. It's going to be more dynamic. Strong Concordance is great, but doesn't tell you the whole story. There is maybe more to add from the semantic range of every Hebrew, the roots. We're going to add way more resources here, and it's going to help you to find what most of the rabbis know, that there is underlying meaning in the Hebrew words and the Hebrew roots, and you can find that midrash interpretation of things. And I want that to be available for everyone. We are adding translations. For example, it would be nice to have the Septuagint translation, and the ones that are public domain. Most of the modern ones, there is legal issues with that, but we're going to add our own translation. And then cross-references. The cool thing about cross-references is if you are in verse 1 and you want to go and see where this verse variation or context, similar context appears in another chapter, you can click on the verse and it will take you right away there, and you can actually read the verse in context. Most other tools don't allow you to do that. So you can see cross-references, and then we're gonna add, right now I'm scraping as we speak the cross-references from our LDS. I think it's the updated, 2012 scripture copy, and the only way that is available right now to look at it is through a PDF file. So I'm taking them out, putting them together, and I'll be adding them here, and plus other ones that we as a team personally are going to find. So then you will have a very rich cross-reference list. And then eventually will be, let me go back to Genesis 1, the ability to make notes. I think hopefully that will be done also by the end of the year. But we are just trying to give you a tool, nothing more than that. It's a resource for people to dive into the scriptures, learn from the Lord, receive personal revelation, growth, and enlightened truth. We're not trying to in any way replace or spoon feed anybody. I think we are very anxious and everybody to come and learn, and then come and share what you're learning, and all of us can be edified. That's our goal, and I hope you guys enjoy the tool. And if you have feedback or a future request, throw it in. We would love to hear. Or if you're having success, just let us know. Will be nice to hear from you. That's it. Have a wonderful, wonderful day. Bye.